Hey, we're here at the Wichita Falls Athletic Club, and I'm going to talk to you about bent bars. So at a gym like this, it's been open for like 150 years or whatever it is. Thousands, millions of people have come through here, and the equipment is in generally excellent shape, but over the years some of the bars have gotten bent. If you end up with a bent bar, which if you treat the equipment well, shouldn't happen very often, but things happen. You drop the bar on the pins, you drop a deadlift asymmetrically, and you get a little bit of bend in the bar. If it's a high quality bar, the bend shouldn't be very significant. But once a bar's bent, you continue to use it and it may continue to get more bent depending on what kind of stuff you're putting it through. So what I'm going to talk to you about is what to do with those bars. There is a use for bent bars in the gym. This bar in particular, so this is old Texas power bar. It's got the torture device knurl on it, but you can see how bent that bar is. It's very bent. There's no reason to throw this bar out. It still holds a lot of weight, and there can be some uses for it. This is an old York bar, also bent. So the way to check whether your bar is bent is to put it in the rack and then rotate it in the pins, and then watch what happens out here at the end of the sleeve. If you see it rotating bigger, if you see it describing a bigger circle than the actual diameter of the sleeve, to any significant degree, then that bar is going to be bent. Something that Rip has done here at the gym is mark the bars that are bent. So they'll say bent on them using just a paint marker, and then also putting a dot at the top of the bend so that you know where to set the bar up in the rack so that the bend is always on top. If you happen to have a bent bar, that is a chance to use the bar for things like rack pulls, anything that you're going to be, pin presses, anything that you're going to be doing inside the rack where there's a potential for the bar to hit the pins asymmetrically. If you're just doing deadlifts on the ground, use a straight bar. So aside from rack pulls and pin presses and things that are inside the rack, you can also use a bent bar for squats. And there's a couple of advantages to doing this. If you've got a bar that's got a pretty significant bend in it like this one, it works better than some of the products that are on the market that are sold to do this exact thing, like a buffalo bar or something like that, where you have a significant arc in the bar and then the plates sit on the end. The advantage with a bar that used to be straight, that's standard weight, standard diameter, is obviously those two things, right? So it's the exact same bar you use most of the time, and also the plates are in the same on the same shaft as the bar. So usually when you have a buffalo bar or something similar, you've got an arced bar and then you've got the sleeves are still horizontal, so there's going to be some angle, and those tend to act more like a cambered bar where you have some element of swing in the bar as you're going down into the squat. Once again, the advantage here is that the plates are in line with the bar. You're not going to have that element of rotation forward and back as you're squatting down with a bar that used to be straight that is now bent. So the bent bar will help with people who have trouble getting under the bar because of shoulder problems, because they're either very tight or there's some anatomical issue from an injury or a surgery that prevents them from otherwise getting into a low bar squat, and allows you to do it without having to go to a high bar squat. So you can preserve the mechanics and the movement and take some of the load off of the knees, which is one of the positive benefits of using a low bar squat of the many. The other thing that a bent bar will allow you to do, if you have a thick back or you have just problems holding onto the bar in general, like the bar rotates on your back, whether down or up, the bent bar will completely eliminate that. So because the bend will always want to be on top, it facilitates a stable bar position for the squat, and you'll almost completely eliminate the tendency for the bar to want to rotate up or down if you are having that problem. You don't need to go out and look for a bent bar to solve an issue that you don't actually have. But if the bent bar is available at your gym or at your house, and you have that issue, and you're looking for a way to be able to hold the bar down low and remove some of the stress from your shoulders and elbows, a bent bar works great. You're going to get under it just like you normally would and proceed to squat like normal. There's no need to change anything about the squat like you would have to do if you bought a specific piece of equipment that's designed to have a bend in it. So don't go and try to bend your bars intentionally. If it happens, it happens. At the same time, don't throw the bar away if it does get bent. Mark the top of the bar so you know where the bend is. When you put it in the rack, if it's a slight bend, that'll be even more important. And then go ahead and use it for rack pulls, use it for your clients that have shoulder or elbow issues, or use it for pin presses, or anything that's gonna involve being inside of the rack and pressing or pulling off of pins. Hope that helps.